Welcome to day three of Cypher 2025. I have Prashant with me from Neysa, who heads the startups and unicorn at the firm. And thank you so much, Prashant. And how has it been so far here at Cypher? We are at day three.
Pleasure is equally mine, Mohit. Thank you. It's fabulous. The energy, the excitement, and most importantly, the building with AI is nerve-breaking, I would say.
Yeah, I think that is what our theme for this Cypher is as well. Make AI in India.
Yeah,
And that is what Neysa is also doing and helping.
absolutely.
So, what is your view on the current scenario when it comes to the startups that are coming up? We are raising funds, but when we compare it to the West, they are not that big. So, what do you see? How do you see this space evolving?
My view is that startups are solving problems which are real, and funding is the function of problem that you solve. If you look at the past, we started solving problems which were big for us in retail, for example. So we got funded and we became
Yeah.
a company which started funding other companies. Now, if you see on the other extreme, I met few companies who are doing like space tech.
Yeah, yeah.
We are going to launch our first satellite, and that is exciting. Those are moonshots. We do have health tech happening.
Yeah,
We do
yeah.
have ed tech happening. We do have uh, fintech happening. So on one side, if you look at the funding on a particular sector, it might look small. On the other side, when you look at the overall spectrum of change and that we're driving, there's a lot of potential for growth, and it's going to grow for sure.
And so you must have come across a lot of startups that are focusing on sovereign AI
Yeah.
and building AI in India.
Yeah.
Do you think their ambitions to grow right now in the next 2-3 years to achieve the sovereignty we need? Because a lot of people are talking about what if the West doesn't provide the models in the future?
That is one part of the problem. You are right.
Yeah.
And I'll bring my learning from China because in 2014, I was fortunate to be in China. And what startups were doing was number one, they were keeping the data in country. Step two, they were hammering it hard with the AI so that you can use the product. And number three, they started giving it to people. For example, in 2015, when I went there, I could scan my passport and it could read it. In 2017, when I went there, it started talking to me and they could know that I'm in the country forever.
Yeah.
And you could see the change happening. So my bottom line is that uh, the AI has to be applied to the local problems.
Okay.
And when you try to apply for the local problem, the data has to be available locally. And the processing also has to be happening locally. And the best example I would give is, let's say you're riding a car and the car is autonomous.
Okay.
If there's a person at 35 feet distance, you need 7 milliseconds to brake. Those decisions can't be taken on a cloud which is outside.
Definitely, yeah.
So the more cool things you do locally, like voice transcription, like space research, speech to text,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth, the data has to be where people are.
Yeah. So do you think autonomous vehicles are anytime possible soon in Bangalore traffic?
Never say never, but the closest example you would see a couple of segways
Okay.
where people are riding, and that's a very early view on autonomous vehicle, I would say, from the perspective of feasibility. But if you look at the mode, because that's just one wheel,
Yeah.
you can have like 2, 3, 4, 5 wheel. So if you see what Ola did with 2 wheels, they could show that.
Yeah.
Whether it's in field trial, we have to see. It will happen for sure. But when you go to the level 3 or level 4 or level 5, it will be a function of the environment as well as technology.
Yeah.
For example, if the system is designed for humans, machines can't work there.
Okay. Yeah.
So today, for example, we can cross the road because of our authentic intelligence. So unless you made a system where humans are stopped by the light,
Yeah.
machines will also start imitating that.
Okay.
Or you make machines so smart that they start thinking like you, which is very hard.
Okay. They will also try to jump signals then sometime.
Or they would like to stop perhaps.
Okay. Maybe. So I was talking to Karan yesterday, your
Yeah.
CPO. So I also was interested in asking Neysa that what is your view if like something like OpenAI is coming to India with their Stargate project?
Yeah,
And a lot of startups are also coming into India.
correct.
Do you think India will have its own Stargate kind of a thing built by its own sometime soon? Or how is that possible?
It's possible by the aspirations, right? So if you look at the proprietary model versus open weight, it's going to be and.
Okay.
right? For
Yeah.
the scenarios where you can use the data in public, you can do things fast. That model will evolve because they're just not OpenAI, but others also are driving that.
Yeah.
On the contrary, there are scenarios where you need data in private where you need to apply the model. For example, if you look at Quen 3, which came out a couple of days back,
Yeah.
and that's competing fairly with the voice models which are in proprietary world. So we are going to see that world evolving. So
Yeah.
it will not be proprietary or open weight, it will be proprietary and open weight. The second part of the question is whether we'll do that in India or not. I'll give you the learning from last 3 months. I have been talking to almost like 600 startups.
Okay.
And if you look at all of them doing AI, 80% of them are kind of doing inferencing.
Yeah.
Almost like 13 to 14% are kind of going to a point where they're trying to do model training for which they need infrastructure.
Yeah.
And there are 2 or 3% very bullish and I would say moonshot kind of company who are saying that we are going to have the capability to build model of our own.
Yeah.
So my point is when you come to the AI cloud, there are 2 entry points. One is you come via inference, which is path of low resistance. One is the entry point where you go and create model, but that's complex.
Yeah. Definitely.
Would somebody go for it? Of course. Are people doing it? Of course. Will majority of people will do this? Perhaps not now.
Okay.
But if you look at the ratio, it might change over a period of time, for sure.
Do you think startups are focusing more on inference than training because there's less amount of funding available in the market for Indian startups, or
It's not just function of funding, but it's a function of what outcome they want to drive. Because I'll give you an example of a company called Navana. Rahul is
Navana
here,
AI?
right?
Yeah.
So when I met Rahul for the first time, Rahul said that he really went to villages, captured the data, voice,
Yeah.
he cleaned it, labeled it, trained it, deployed it in a bank.
Yeah.
And I mean, there have been scenarios he have been training that on our cloud. So if that is an example where somebody went fundamentally right and did the training, and the effect you can see in the outcome that is being driven.
Yeah.
Why startups are doing mostly inferencing? Because it's easily available. They want to achieve low impact, low investment, high impact use cases. For example, coding, for example, text to speech, for example, chatbots.
Yeah.
And hence you're seeing the transition. However, when the maturity comes in the system where people start looking at solving more complex problems, for example, can my autonomous car go, or
Yeah.
can I really detect cancer? Those companies, I mean, they are really doing training.
Yeah. Definitely.
So you will see the 80-13 ratio kind of is skewing a bit as the market
Okay.
mature.
Yeah.
And once a company says that I want to go and train, of course they will get funded. And I would like to quote, say, for example, Prashant Pandey from Cure.
Yeah.
I mean, a great example of the objective that they're driving, and the team is really hammering hard on the training part there.
Yeah.
So we are seeing the funding happening for the right technology.
For sure. Yeah. So Prashant, one last question is that you mentioned about Navana AI.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of other startups and initiatives that are going to different districts
Yeah.
trying to collect data.
Yeah.
So a lot of them say that it's a very philanthropic journey that they have to take on because
Really?
there's not enough money in building Indic AI.
Okay.
So do you think that is true? And if you think so, then what advice would you give to them if they feel boxed up running in for the long run?
The advice I would give, first of all, I disagree with that statement personally. It's my personal opinion. And secondly, my advice would be to really make a startup with a business model. Right? Somewhere I feel that we are very humble to ask for the quality that they give.
Okay.
For example, if I make a startup and I give the value of cost, it's very easy to ask for money. But if I make a startup which is giving the value of time or quality, somehow I don't know how to ask for the revenue in context like that.
Yeah.
So as a founder, on one side where I focus on building the right model, the other side I have to start educating the market that, hey, this is the era where text is transitioning to voice.
Yeah.
And if you use voice, your business will go up.
Okay.
And for that, if you give me, say, N amount of dollar, you will get, or N amount of rupee, you might have N plus N to the power N revenue growth.
Yeah.
And that's the part where the world is right now, where people are figuring out that how AI is going to drive revenue. And these founders have amazing opportunity to go and talk to them, work with them, solve for them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are some people who are buying all these Indic. I mean, that is also going to grow in some of the years. That is for sure.
You are 100% right.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prashant, for coming to Cypher and coming for this podcast. Lovely.
My pleasure, Mohit, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.